I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis, and you're watching It's Your Health. Now, this is part two of our segment with John Defenders, former Mr. USA and ultra-fit inventor. And we're going to talk about bodybuilding in this part. If you saw the earlier part, it was on the introduction into about John Defenders, his background, what led him to get into fitness, into bodybuilding, and the various successes he's had in that area. But we're going to talk about specifically now training, bodybuilding, exercise, and fitness in this segment. And before we, my first question to you, John, is, we've been friends for several plus years on Facebook, and we've talked on the phone on occasion, and you've helped me directly with my personal exercise, fitness, and ultra fit program for us, the way I eat now. And when I'm in excellent shape, I'm going to get back on my ultra fit. As we talked, I just
did your surgery.
Coming back from an injury, I had a TFCC tear in my right hand, my dominant hand, and that has sidelined me for the past year. Prior to having the surgery, I wasn't able to train, and of course, when you can't train, and I've lost the lean body mass, which helped to burn calories and keep my metabolism up, I've gained some weight back. So I'm kind of revisiting John, to get a little remotivated as well, and tweak my diet once again, and to take up where I left off last time when John Defenders outlined a program that led me to be in the best shape of my life, even after 25, 30 plus years of training on my own and under the guidance of other people. So just to give credit to John on this tremendous program that he has, Ultra Fit, the training program, plus the diet itself, the combination. But John, I have a different question, I guess, from the fitness. Like I said, we've been friends on Facebook 7+ years, and I've noticed many of you post, of course, and you post a lot about, you quote scripture and all. I want to ask you about your relationship with Jesus Christ, and how did that give you, what role did your faith in, your Christian faith, your faith in Jesus Christ and accepting Him play in your success in your life? Can you tell me that? Tell our viewers.
Well, I think we're first of all, in my beliefs, we're nothing without God. I mean, that's for the people who have faith, they know that's a no-brainer. That
True.
There is a higher power. He that's God, and He plays a vital role. And I think that the way we live our lives and the things that we do, and the faith that we have in Jesus, and the love that we have for Jesus, really plays a major role in what the outcome is as far as our lives, and especially when it comes to working with other people. I mean, my parents got me into church as a child. I think there's two very important things that we need as children. One is God, church, being brought to church, being introduced to the Christian faith, so that we have that basis, that foundation. It's so important. And even though some of us, and I did, after I left and I moved to Arizona in my early 20s, even though we may drift from that faith.
True.
And oftentimes people do. You drift from that faith when you realize the direction your life goes and what you need to do. You come back to that faith because that was your foundation, and you realize that that's really where you need to be. That's where everybody really needs to be. Have that belief in God, and be a follower of Jesus, so that you can follow those principles and love other people, and care for other people. But I drifted, and then I came back. Years ago, and I think that the most important thing is that we have that faith, and that we have, we know where we came from. We know where our power comes from, and we utilize that. We appreciate it. We're grateful. We praise God for the blessings He gives us, and that we utilize that energy and that power that we're given for something positive that's going to make a difference in people's lives. And that's really how I feel, when it comes to
because I wanted to bring that up, because a lot of people don't look at a real strong, physically strong, burly guy like yourself, Mr. USA, as being a person close to God for some reason. They think that, people that are close to God, maybe it's maybe a sissy thing to be, to love God and to have faith in Christ and put, let Him be the bedrock of your strength and put your confidence in strength in Christ and to lead you in the right path and give you that strength to pursue those avenues that lead you to success. And I wanted to kind of recap and talk about that and let you.
Well, I think it's important that we realize where that strength and that power comes from. I think that's the most important thing. I mean, I've had friends tell me, dude, man, you train your whole life, man. It had nothing to do with God. I disagree with you. I disagree with that person that tells me that. I believe that my faith had a lot to do with my destiny and, the things I was able to achieve in life. And I thank God and I praise God for those blessings, because those blessings allow us to bless other people. And I think that's where a lot of people are misguided. I see a lot of these celebrities, they achieve some type of greatness in their sport, and they believe that makes them better than everybody else. And they have this attitude, like my magazine covers to me are cartoon character, it's a cartoon character image. I loved it. I loved going to the store and buying the magazines with my picture on the cover. I trained years to get there.
Sure.
But I was smart enough to know that it's meaningless in the big picture if you're not going to utilize those accolades and those achievements to bless other people. So oftentimes I tell my trainers, utilize my background, let people know I'm in the Fitness Hall of Fame, Bodybuilding Hall of Fame, Personal Training Hall of Fame. With the magazine covers, I've had 24 international magazine covers. But I don't want people to know that because I think I'm great, or I'm like going, hey, look at me, my bicep, I'm John DeFennis, I'm a powerful guy. I want them to know that because that's what allows me to help other people.
Right.
So if someone needs my help and a trainer tells me my client is struggling, is there any way you can help her? So I said, yes, let me call Mary. So I call Mary and say, Mary, this is John DeFennis with UltraFit. And if Mary knows my background, oftentimes she's going to say, oh my God, I can't believe you're calling me. And, my trainer told me that, you're in the Fitness Hall of Fame, or I know you're the creator of UltraFit. My reaction is, Mary, thank you very much, but this call is about you. It's about what you're doing. You've lost 20 pounds. You have 30 more pounds to go, and I don't want you to lose momentum. I care about you. We care about you. And that's what makes the difference between a true champion and a paper champion. A true champion is going to use their achievements to bless other people. They're going to use their background and credentials to bless other people. If people know that I have 50 years of knowledge, then they're going to say, hey, if I listen to him,
True.
he might be able to help me. And then it gives me that avenue to make a difference in their life. Otherwise, if I don't have any of that, why would anybody listen to me? I mean, I believe that just like if I came to you and I said, hey, I needed some help, and you told me, well, I'm not a doctor and I wanted medical advice, but you're not a doctor. Why would I listen to you if you're not a doctor? Why would I listen to you unless you have those credentials?
Correct.
Those credentials, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a pastor pastoring the church, whether you're, somebody with my background helping people to be healthy and fit, I mean, the fact that, you have those years of experience.
Correct.
And those titles make the difference, but only make the difference if you're going to use them in the proper way to help other people.
That's so true, John. Yeah, totally agree with you. Totally.
Nothing is more disappointing than meeting a champion that doesn't care about other people. I've been with great celebrities, people who are, I'm not going to mention their names, professional baseball players that were just unbelievable athletes. And I sat there and I watched a kid come over and say, can I have your autograph? And that the baseball player said no. And I sat there embarrassed. I wanted to leave. I had a sick feeling to my stomach. And about 5 or 10 minutes later, I said, "You don't sign autographs?" No, I have a contract with Topps or whatever company it was, and it doesn't allow me to sign autographs. And this, you talk about a person that was a multimillionaire. A person that was a multimillionaire. I'm not talking about Mike Piazza. This is somebody completely different. But the person was a multimillionaire, and he didn't need to sign that contract. So my question, the question I really wanted to answer is, at what point do you sign your life away so that you have to look at thousands of little kids being disappointed? How can you do that? I don't understand it. So to me, if you have any type of background, of any celebrity status, of any titles or anything that you have the avenue to help people, then you need to utilize that in a positive way. And if a kid asks you for an autograph, give the kid an autograph.
Sure, I certainly agree. Certainly agree. And let's go into that segment now about bodybuilding. And there's a phrase about you, insanity intensity, and you're rated as one of the most intense and insane type of training programs that you've used along the years. You have a very intense training program. I know a little bit about it because you've shared some with me, and I thought it was kind of crazy. But then after I started using it, I saw the results and I totally embraced it. Let's talk about bodybuilding now, and I'm just open the floor and let you.
Yeah, well, the intensity insanity principles, Steve Mihalek, when I originally trained with Steve Mihalek in the 70s, Steve talked about, the intensity, and I, one day I said, I don't know if this is intense or if it's just insane. And I guess Steve had said something about that a couple of years earlier. I didn't know that, but at that point, when Steve heard me say, I don't know if this is intense or insane, he said, yeah, intensity or insanity. And that's really where intensity and insanity, the phrase began back in the 70s. And then through life, I trained with, just fierce determination. And every night before I go to bed, I would say, how can I make the workout more intense? How can I become better? How can I become that champion that I want to be? And, I would come up with ways and workouts that would challenge the muscle, and in different methods that we use with UltraFit. And UltraFit is basically a moderate, like the UltraFit that we apply to our clients is a moderate level of intensity or insanity. We're teaching people who are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and up to, we have clients in their 80s. Miss Jane Kelly, 81 years old. The woman competed just competed recently in the last year in a bikini competition. 80 years old. I mean, she's 81 now, but she was 80 when she competed. Phenomenal, incredible shape. You'd never ever think that that's how old she was.
But you don't look 60.
Well, thank you.
You're 60.
I appreciate that. And I did turn 60, but I think that has a lot to do with it. It's about, taking care of your health, eating healthy, eating UltraFit, regular training. But the workouts that we implement with UltraFit and the trainers implement are all a version of intensity or insanity. They're not at that, they may not be at that level, but they grow to a higher level and higher level. And I always tell people, there's always another level. There's always another level. If you think you train hard, come to my gym, come to, the Shark Tank that I have here. And when I take somebody through a Shark Tank workout, I have one goal, that when they leave this gym, it was the hardest workout they have ever done in their life up until this point.
And it was a goal of mine to come to the Shark Tank and train shoulders, but I'm just rehabbing from an injury, and that's not going to happen today. And John's rehabbing from an injury as well.
Now, your injury was your wrist?
That's my right wrist,
your right
yes.
Wrist, yeah.
And so I'm not able to train. I'm doing dumbbell presses with maybe a 10-pound dumbbell as per my hand surgeon and physical therapist limited me what I can do, and doing curls with 10 pounds. That's up from 5-pound curls, of course, but gradually making a progression. The road back to fitness is long, and with this type of injury, of course, I'm letting it heal because it's going to allow me to train with full speed and go back and train with intensity. Maybe not so much as insanity as I trained before. Maybe that's might have, kind of slow down on maybe the poundage, but still the same tempo, still a very intense workout.
Exactly.
And still achieving the great gains because you don't have to handle, a tremendous poundage to have a good physique and to be in great shape.
Not at this point, especially. You've done the work.
67.
I mean, we've done the work. We put in the effort and the time, and it's like having the shoulder replacement. I had the shoulder replacement. It'll be 5 weeks now, and I can do certain things. I cannot lift my arm past here right now. It's a process. In another week and a half, we go into the next phase of rehab with my therapist. Correct. Now, I know what to do. The therapist knows I know what to do, but I have to have him for accountability just like a person needs a trainer.
Sure.
I have to keep it at the level, it's that progression.
That pace,
Because
yeah,
if
that
I get
gradual
ahead of
pace.
myself and I decide I'm going to do a little bit more, you know what? That's not the answer. The therapist knows. He's a specialist at this. I got a great therapist, and but it's steps. I have no concern about whether I'm going to be back in my top best shape. Especially at 60 years old, and it's exciting to go after the unknown of what I can achieve at this age. Hey, I want to be, more importantly, I want to be an inspiration to other people. I want to show other people, you can go through adversity, you come back, you attack it, you become relentless, you become the shark, and you achieve your goal. And that's what I'm going to do through the rehab with this. But the intensity and sanity principles are very, at the highest level, are very extremely intense. I had the blessing of being voted the fourth hardest training strength athlete in the history of bodybuilding, Olympic lifting, and powerlifting.
I've read that about you. Yeah, I've read that.
The
It's
Flex
quite
magazine.
impressive. Quite
And
impressive.
that's actually one of the things I'm most proud of, because it's about work ethic.
Who have you trained with, John? You've trained with some top people in the game of bodybuilding.
Well,
Steve Mihaly, for one.
Steve
Mr.
Mihaly.
America,
I've been
Mr.
with,
USA,
I trained with
Mr.
Samir Benood. I trained
Yeah.
with the Barbarian Brothers. I've been with just about. I've been to Arnold's house and at private parties at Arnold's house, and I've just been around some of the greatest stars. Mike Torsh is a great friend of mine, a great champion. Not at so much at the pro levels of bodybuilding, but a great champion in every sense of the word. Tom Terwilliger is a former
I know Tom
Mr. America.
personally, yeah.
I grew up with Tom. We trained as teenagers. He beat me in one of the early shows in one of the Mets. I took second in the teenage. He won. I took fifth in the men's. He took fourth. And to this day, I rib him all the time. I go, oh no, he'll write something on my page. I go, oh no, there he is. The guy that reminds me of that loss. And me and Tommy, we keep each other on our toes. He's another great champion, a great motivator. But I was blessed with being around some of the greatest champions in the world. And I know that they had such an impact on me, and that's the kind of impact that I've lived to have on other people, because I think it's important. I've helped people, and several years later, their mother may come to me and say, you know what? You made such a difference in my son's life, you teaching him about training and nutrition and everything. And I'll sometimes stop and say, you know what? The difference wasn't me teaching him about training and nutrition. Okay, we have the answers, and that makes a profound difference. But the big difference that we make in people's lives is getting them to believe in themselves. And if somebody believes in my journey and what I've accomplished, then and they look up to me in any way, then it's my responsibility to get them to believe in themselves.
True.
Yeah. And that's a great tool that you have. If somebody's sitting in front of me and they're saying, "What, my gosh," and they're looking at, like before you were talking about the Mr. USA trophy standing over there and taking a picture with it, and when people come over, they always get a kick out of the USA trophy, and I said, "Would you like to take a picture with it?" "Oh my God, that would be great!" And especially these kids, teenagers, and they take a picture with the USA trophy, and I want them to hold it, and I want them to understand that dreams do come true when you truly believe, and you set the goal, you make sure you got the right people around you with the game plan, and you become relentless. And I think the biggest contribution that I've had to a lot of these younger people is to get them to believe in themselves. And and I do that by, they believe in me and what I've accomplished, and they look up to that. And then I tell them, listen, I was no different than you. I was a kid with a dream. Believe in your dream. Don't give up. Keep fighting for it. And as long as you never give up, you never fail. The only time we fail is when we quit. And you know what? I'm not 60 years old. I'm just getting started. Same, you how you feel. We're just getting started.
Exactly. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back. We'll continue with John DeFinnis. Hi, I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis with a health tip for you today. We're talking about peripheral vascular disease. It refers to disease and disorders of the blood vessels outside of the heart, such as those of the brain, the gut, the kidneys, or the limbs. PVD, peripheral vascular disease, is typically caused by blockage or damage to the blood vessels, such as the veins and arteries. Over time, arteries can build up with cholesterol, plaques, and narrow. This can happen to arteries anywhere in the body. For example, in the neck arteries that supply the brain, it can cause many strokes. In the arteries of the arms, it may cause fatigue or tiredness in one arm more than the other, or result in a difference in blood pressure between the two arms. In the arteries of your kidneys, it may cause your blood pressure to be poorly controlled, sometimes suddenly, or it may lead to deterioration of kidney function. The arteries in your leg, for example, it may cause them to start having problems walking slowly. You may have difficulty keeping up from the fatigue in your legs. You may have weakness in your legs or discomfort and cramping. These symptoms may include many fatigue or heaviness in the legs, especially at the end of the day. You might have swelling in your ankles, cramps at nighttime. You might have itching of the skin. Restless legs, also another symptom of possibility of peripheral vascular disease. Also, pigmentation of skin below the knees, from visible veins on the legs and sores that may develop above the ankles, such as varicose veins. If you have any of these symptoms, schedule an appointment with your doctor and get checked out. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis. Have a great day. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis, and we're back with John Defendis. We're talking about bodybuilding. We're talking about his career in bodybuilding and his training methods, etc. So we'll get back to that now. John, I want to talk about, I know you have a great deal of influence with kids and you're all about, putting passion in these kids to train. I know there's a couple young men on your Facebook page that you've encouraged and have come up and you've taken pictures of, and they've trained in the Shark Tank. And I'm saying these are kids like 12 and 13, that just come into the game, don't know what it's all about. See the tremendous strength, the trophies, and the big biceps, and just all eyes looking at that, wanting, hey, can I get to that point for its physique wise? And talking about that, I can't help dismiss the tremendous abuse of drugs in bodybuilding today. And I'm not talking about in the professionals. I'm talking about in kids, 13, 14, 15. They just come to bodybuilding, just start working out, and they think, gee, I'm 14 years old. I need to get on a steroid cycle. And here are kids, from a physiological standpoint, just coming into their own, from a standpoint of testosterone levels rising. They don't need to be on testosterone or drugs. They have a very youthful level of testosterone and can make tremendous gains naturally through hard training and excellent diets like an ultra-fit diet. So I want you to comment on which, number one, you walked away from bodybuilding after winning the Mr. USA. You had a classic Herculean physique, I might add, and very distinctive. You had that tremendous shoulder waistline differential going for you. That was just tremendous. These tremendous wide shoulders and a wasp waist through your diet and ultra fit and your training methods. But I wanted your opinion and your thoughts on what's taking place in bodybuilding today, why you walked away, and the problem with these kids coming to bodybuilding and think they have to jump on a steroid cycle the first week they start training.
Well, fortunately, I was lucky. I started training at 10 years old, and I didn't know what a steroid was at 10, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 years old. If you look at pictures of me at 16, at 13 I was still skinny. 14 I was making some progress. 15 making decent progress. And 16 I really was starting to come into my own, and I had a really good physique, especially when you look at a classic physique at 16 years old. I had a very, very classic physique, and one where a lot of people would aspire to. I appreciate your kind words about my physique and the structure and everything. I worked really hard on symmetry and shape, but I didn't know anything about steroids. I didn't take steroids when I was 16, 17, 18. Right. It wasn't until I was 21 I had already taken third in the USA. I had developed a good physique. And Steve Mahalik brought me to Dr. Arthur Ludwig. It was legal. It was legal
Right.
at that point to be administered steroids, and so I was almost 22. I was 21, and Dr. Ludwig administered a clinical dosage, and you had blood tests going in. If when the blood test results came back, if your liver enzymes or your kidney functions were out of whack, he wouldn't prescribe anything. You wouldn't get anything. It didn't matter if you had a show. It didn't matter anything. And we used basically a 12-week cycle, maybe once a year or twice a year if we were doing a show.
Correct.
And train all year drug free. And this is again after I trained for almost 12
and many
years.
of the champs really train that way. The
Yeah.
steroids was not something that was used until the very end of their training, maybe 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out from a show. They would start use a cycle of steroids, but nothing like you see today.
Yeah, we would do 12 weeks out, a week, and stop a week before, but it was all very limited, very limited. It was clinical dosages, and people will tell me to this day, "You're a liar. You didn't do." Hey, listen, I know what I did. I worked my ass off.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
I did. And we trained twice a day, and we lived the nutrition. And but I retired from the sport because of the drug use. Because then what happened is, growth hormone came in, insulin came in. People were using clenbuterol, people were using Tren, all these drugs that were very, very dangerous and are very dangerous. And if you have to ask a bodybuilder, they'll tell you they're not because they're all in denial. But what happened was the sport became at a time where we built the best physique that we could build with no drugs, and then legally went on drugs through a doctor's prescription. Then to take it to the final, that final level. And but now it's like you say, they don't want to learn about training, they don't want to learn about nutrition, they want to learn what drugs do I take, and now it's illegal. You can't. You can't. If we went back to my youth, and before I ever went to the doctor and got on steroids, it was illegal, I would have never went to the doctor because well, obviously you couldn't go to the doctor, but I would have never went to a drug dealer and bought drugs because, I don't think that that's the route to go. I don't think that you should do something illegal to be able to create a career,
Right.
And it was embarrassing for me when steroids then became illegal, and I had to go through a lot of stuff with that, and going and then your sport turned into something that was illegal versus doing something that was healthy and good for you. Now it's unhealthy, and I train a lot of these young kids that aspire to be great, and I tell them you can be great, you can build an incredible physique without drugs. Do it without drugs. Great champions like Richard Saad, Cedric Talley, who's one of my trainers. Cedric Talley's phenomenal physique. Richard Saad, phenomenal physique. All natural. And I'm very, very proud of them and what they've done, and the fact that they're disciplined enough to say, hey, you know what? I want to take it to the ultimate level. I don't need drugs, and I'm going to be the best I can be without drugs, because in the big scheme of things, your health is the most important thing there is. I was fortunate. I did not use them for years, and I did not abuse them, and they were under doctor's care. But I would not be alive and healthy today at 60 years old. Thank God, knock on wood. Had I not, been, had the right people.
I agree. And 2 points I want to bring out about that. Something Boria Coe told me, who's Mr. America, Mr. Universe, Mr. World, has won every physique contest. And he said, Rick, he said, the same people would be in the winner's circle that are using steroids that are in the winner's circle today. He said, the only difference they might be a little bit smaller. So that the drug doesn't make the champion. The person makes the champion. He becomes the champion.
And I believe
it's
that
not the drug. It's the individual.
Yeah, Doc, I believe that in the 80s and 90s. I don't believe it today because it's changed. The game's changed. See, when you use clinical dosages and you're not abusing drugs, the drugs don't make the champion. The champion developed that body, and they only use, basically using anabolics at that time was to allow our bodies to recover from those brutal workouts.
Yeah, true.
It wasn't, if we take these drugs,
exactly.
we're going to build a body without having to work hard. I see a lot of these, I go to the gyms today, you see a lot of guys 240, 250, 260 pounds and above, all jacked up, all walking around like this, and I watch them train, and I'm like going, my gosh.
And with a bad attitude. these people
walking around with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And that's from the trend, and a lot of the darn drugs are taken. And I mean, we didn't have a chip on our shoulder.
No, I don't remember that back in the days.
There was so much camaraderie. I mean, you know, but I see these guys. There's so many of them. They all come from the same mold. They're all big and like this. They don't have beautiful shape. They're all bloated. Their stomachs are, a lot of them, their stomachs are bloated because of the growth hormone.
Right.
And you know, that's not, you know, that's never what I aspired to be. And I thank God I got out of the sport when I did. But I'm a fan of a great natural bodybuilding, or bodybuilding with a great physique that you earned.
And let me add something to that, if I might. And looking at you today, you're 60 years of age. You're coming off of a real bad surgery, real rough surgery, I might add. And that's really hard on you. It's very painful. And you look great. And you haven't trained in 5 months. But the reason that you look great, two reasons. Number one, you built your physique on sound principles. You've trained correctly and properly. You have the strength to go with the muscle size. It's not just from the pump method, so to speak, but you've got good nutrition going for you, and you know, and your training principles were solid. So your muscles, your size is not going to leave you in that period of time. You still have good size. Plus, you're 60. And I wanted to point out that a lot of these modern day champions, these flash in the pan kind of champions that are here today and gone tomorrow, many of them dead tomorrow. But I'm saying
many of them are dead today. And they're already dead.
But going for the physique, they look terrible. They don't look. If you look at somebody that used strictly drugs, then walked away from it, just because hey, they wanted to win a trophy or a title, and they took all these lethal drugs, potentially lethal drugs that could have killed them and caused medical problems, and so they stopped working out, and all they wanted was, you know, that notoriety, maybe that fame. Maybe they were chasing fame, but they don't train anymore, and they don't eat well anymore, and they look like hell. And you know, you see that in a lot of these champions that are just there for a second, and they're out of the light, and they're gone. You never hear about them.
Well, you know what I see? I see guys going to a gym weighing 180 pounds, and then, you know, 10 weeks later they're 200 pounds and they're all blown up, and then you see them again 2 months later, they're back at 180. You know, all that is water. All it is just water. You know, taking a bunch of drugs, getting bloated, putting on 20 pounds of bloat, and then going off, and then watching the muscle disappear. Our muscle was built on years and years and years and years of progressive training.
Correct.
Progressive, intense training. My muscle, I even talk about it. You know, today I haven't been able to train in over 5 months now because of the shoulder, and you know, I'm still 250 pounds. I still have a lot of muscle. You know, I'm not, rock hard, solid, in incredible shape right now. I will be when the time comes to get back in shape, but my muscle's still there. You know,
sure.
The glycogen will deplete because we haven't used the muscle, so it'll get flat, but the muscle's still there, and all I have to do is train and eat, and the muscle will come back
in a short period of time.
And in a short period of time, and and everything will take form and take shape, and I'm excited about that process. I'm excited, and it's going to be time. I mean, it's been 5 weeks since my surgery, but we're looking at probably 9 months before I'll be able to really train. And at that time, and I'm just, I'm believe me, I'm counting the days, and I can tell you this: when I am able to train, you're going to see a person that's going to be 66, 61 years old next year in phenomenal shape, because I'm going to set that example and show that adversity can be overcome, and especially when you put that many years into the workouts. It's about time and persistence. Today, people are looking for that bang. I want that instant gratification.
Right.
I want to put on that 20 pounds of muscle in 4 weeks. I don't want to train for 3 years to put on 20 pounds of muscle. They want it instantly. And, quite honestly, there's always going to be a price to pay. I always tell people, learn how to train. The biggest thing, they want to know what to take. I said, you're barking up the wrong tree. You want to learn how to train. And a lot of guys that think they know how to train don't know how to train.
Oh,
they say, I know how to train, man.
So
and I go over their workout with them. I'm going, boy, you are so far off, you don't even know it. The order of the exercises, the rep range, the intensity levels, the progression. There's so much to training people have no idea about, but they go into the gym and they work out, throw weights around, and then they emulate so-called champions that are on YouTube throwing dumbbells and cursing and screaming
And advocating steroid use.
and advocating steroid use,
drug
and
use.
it's absolutely absurd and sickening. I hate it. I hate seeing that kind of behavior in a sport that once had, just a tremendous amount of dignity.
I agree with you totally. And, like yourself coming off of an injury, I hope I can look to your guidance again with the Ultra Fit program and training as I
Always.
make my way back to retaining my former lean muscle mass, and plus getting my body weight down, getting that body fat percent way down like I was before I had the injury, before I had the problem with this wrist. So I know the Ultra Fit program, the training program, the nutritional program, the philosophy behind Ultra Fit does work. It is a success because John Defenders has proved it through 30, 40 years plus of work with Ultra Fit. He has been working on this program. He's dedicated his life to this program. I think it's a really good fix for people who are overweight, people who have medical problems. If you want to get off your blood pressure medicine, you want to get off your diabetes medication, and you want your heart to be in excellent shape, I think something like Ultra Fit, a program of sensible exercise and sensible diet, is key and paramount into achieving good health through natural living. I really do, and I think what you're doing is tremendous for Greenville, for even the country and other people. You've impressed so many people with your lifestyle of health and fitness, and just reading your bio is very impressive. But meeting you now here today has been a very rewarding experience for me, very motivating. It gives me the energy to go back to my workouts when I'm able to and really attack it like the shark you talk about,
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you, John. I appreciate you coming on my
Thank
show.
you, Doc.
It's been a real pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Inviting me into your home and to see the Shark Tank. That was a real pleasure. And meeting the bird baby, John Defenders' parrot. So, John, any closing remarks you want to give some kid out there who wants to
Yes.
be Mr. America or get in shape, or somebody that wants to lose weight, has a health problem?
Well,
What
number
you
one,
take?
I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Duplantis for having me on the show. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all who are watching. Thank you for watching, and I hope maybe you pick something up out of this show that's going to benefit you. But the biggest thing that I could say is, whether you're young, middle-aged, older, like we are, don't ever give up your dreams, because you might even get to the point where you feel like giving up, but you don't know how close you are to achieving those dreams. And I've had so many dreams my whole life, and I will continue to dream till the day I die and set goals from those dreams. As long as you continue to set new goals, you'll stay inspired and you'll stay focused. Most importantly, always stay focused, because when you lose focus, you lose your ability to reach that goal. Focus is everything. Focus and a relentless mindset. So remember, be the shark.
Thank you, John. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis. I want to wish you a very pleasant good evening, and God bless.
Relentless pursuit is an art. It is mastered and developed by people who refuse to lose or be weakened by falling, failing, or not being their best. Relentless pursuit is utilizing knowledge, intensity, and time to become your best ever. Relentless pursuit is never giving in to failure, but learning from it and working harder to create victory and success. Relentless pursuit is choosing a goal and achieving it despite any hardships, problems, or obstacles. Relentless pursuit looks like a shark who has tasted blood and is now tracking its target. The shark will let nothing get in the way. Relentless pursuit is a sharpshooter's vision on an infrared scope locked and loaded on the bullseye of that target. Relentless pursuit offers no excuses. Relentless pursuit thrives and it grows and it becomes more intense with every success. How does relentless pursuit relate to you? Simply put, if you utilize the same formula, you will succeed. Start by choosing your weight loss, health, physique, or fitness goals. Recognize and embrace the knowledge of an UltraFit personal trainer and the UltraFit program, which has had tens of thousands of incredible results over a 29-year history of success. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Utilize it and work it and make it spin faster. Relentless pursuit is an amazing way to ensure your success. Make relentless pursuit your art and create your greatest masterpiece now. We will be here to motivate you, train you, hold you accountable, and cheer you on as you achieve your goals with UltraFit. Stay strong and have a powerful UltraFit day. Visit us at www.defendus.com and let us help you relentlessly pursue your goals.
That's over for me.
That's over for you.
Right now. Tell me what I'm going to do.
Peter, the stuff with the ropes, the stuff with the jumping around and the hopscotch ladder, look, this ain't hopscotch no more. This is men training. And you're a man, and you're going to train like a man. You're going to train like an animal. You're going to go in there, and you're going to come in the gym, you're going to do supersets and cycles and drop sets and 12-12s and everything that's UltraFit so that you could see muscles coming out. Striations, lines coming out. You're going to be phenomenal. You're going to look unbelievable. You're going to see, you'll stand there, you'll see like your arms now bowing out that they weren't this morning. One workout. That's just one workout. Picture workout after workout after workout and the way your body responds from the intensity. Your calculated workouts that are progressive where you keep challenging more and more and more. That's what's going to do it. Not all that other stuff. That other stuff is gone. And there was a season for that. This is the season of champions. And you're the champion, okay? And with the season of champions, this is where you step up. You say, okay, that was nice. I graduated elementary school. Now I'm in junior high school. Over the next few months, I'm going to go through junior high school, then high school. You know what you're going to end up? The PhD, brother, and that's the championship. That's when you stand there with abs and lines and shoulders and cuts, and you're going to look at yourself and say, you know, one of the most important questions that I'm asked often is, why would I not want to do cardio if I'm looking to lose weight? Well, I have a simple answer for that. With UltraFit, we are going to challenge you with progressive strength training workouts that's going to incorporate those strength training workouts with cardio by challenging you, lowering the rest time between sets. A lot of the training principles that we use with UltraFits, from 12-12 to drop sets to supersets to cycles, all these different combinations of workouts are going to challenge you, and most importantly, challenge your heart. Because a lot of people say, well, what about my heart? What about losing fat? Well, the best way to lose fat is to increase lean muscle, because by increasing lean muscle, we'll utilize more energy, which is calories, and burn more fat. So with UltraFit, we focus on putting on lean muscle. And the best way to put on lean muscle is to strength train and then take in quality foods so that your body could recover, repair, build muscle, therefore increasing your metabolic rate. The second question to that is, if I'm not specifically doing cardio, what about my heart? Well, that's simple. The heart is a muscle, just like my bicep, just like my tricep, okay? And in order to work the muscle, all we need to do is challenge that muscle. If we cut down our rest time on our strength training workout, we are challenging our heart. If we get our heart rate in its target zone during our strength training workout, we're going to get maximum benefits for our cardiovascular system, as well as maximum benefits in breaking down muscle so that we can repair muscle and increase our metabolic rate by having more muscle. So please put the cardio aside and focus on strength training with an UltraFit trainer. By doing so, we can take 50, 60, 100 pounds off you and have you looking and feeling better than ever. Most importantly, we can improve your heart profile so you don't have to worry about the stress of possibly having a heart attack. With UltraFit, we create healthy bodies, healthy minds, healthy hearts, and fit, firm, and strong bodies. Have a great day and allow us to help you with UltraFit.